All right, so the first thing that I just wanted to bring up that a couple people have found it on their own because I didn't have a chance to send anything out about it, but we did add the ability to generate a preview of the IOR and also regenerate an IOR. So I know for some divisions that's a much bigger deal than others, but for example, if you're doing they call them an active lifestyle designer home, inventory home, spec home, whatever it might be, and let's say you know that you can't go above, you know, $295,000 and you want to start playing with options and see what it's going to do. If you go to a spec quote, you will, oops, I picked a closed one. You'll see a new button up here for IOR preview and regenerate. I went ahead and just prior to this call, I did send out a document. I sent it out in Word so that if anybody would like to make it, you know, look pretty or have more details in there that pertain to just your division, feel free to modify it up. It was just kind of some screenshots of the process if you want to preview or regenerate. It allows you to do that without ordering. So right now, if you hit the generate IOR button, as soon as you do that, you're officially ordering every option. This up here will ask you, and I'll go ahead and do it in the staging environment so you can see it. When you hit that button, it's going to ask you if you have not selected anything yet and you can't preview it, the preview option will not be available. If you don't have anything to regenerate, the regenerate button will not be available. So it only shows you what is applicable. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple options on here just to show what it does. So now that I have a couple of unordered options, typically in the past, your only option would be to actually generate the IOR. Now we have the ability to come in and preview it. So it's the exact same functionality as the regular change order, but if I hit preview and then next, it's going to tell me that I'm about to generate a preview of COR number 4. I hit next and it takes me to the lovely draw loop package where I can then run a preview of that. Now, if I wanted to do a regenerate, then I select the regenerate button, click on next. This is the odd part that I did put instructions in there for this. I asked Dan if we could change this because right now it's like a sliding button almost. So it tells you here that you have one COR number 1, 2, and 3, and you slide this across and you'll see the number change on the right. And that's which one you're going to regenerate. So I think it's just the whatever he picked as the image. We want to change that a little bit. But for right now, we didn't want to hold up getting it out to you just for that one feature. So that's how you can select. This is the one right here that I'm going to regenerate. When I hit next, it'll take me to the draw loop page. And then this time you can actually print, or you do have the option to email. Some divisions actually email these out. So if you needed to regenerate it and send it out to somebody, you have the ability to do that as well. So that's just something new that it is in production. It actually went in there yesterday. And so I sent out the document. You can share that with your teams. If you have any problems or come across any issues with it, please just let me know. Other than that, the main thing that we are focusing on right now is all around the options. Just so you're aware what's going on with those, we do have them being sent from E1 to S2, and it is producing a error message that has to do with multiple queries that are failing. And at the end of the day, we submitted a ticket in or a case opened with Salesforce. It is an error message that does not seem to be, it's not applicable to our development of it, but rather a Salesforce limitation on the CPQ that we use for generating our quotes. They have had that open for about a week now. They proposed a solution. So we've taken that solution and put it in a test environment to see if it works. Fingers crossed their solution was correct and it actually does fix the problem, in which case all of those options that we have sitting waiting to get their way into S2 will actually make their way through, hopefully by Monday. However, I don't want to say for sure that's going to work, because there has been times when they've provided what they think is a solution and we test it and it doesn't actually solve the problem. So we're in the process of doing that right now, and everybody's pretty focused on getting that corrected. In the meantime, we have at least found a way where June is able to manually create a script that we run in the evening, and we have to do one option at a time per plan. So it is not fast or easy. And he has to write a script for each one of those. So what I've been doing is, as individuals get to the point where they're at a cutoff, need to order an option and get the buyer charged and have it ordered, I'm taking those and basically manually running that process. So we've done it on about 4 or 5 of them so far, and it's worked. So I've requested for, I know there's some Sharewell tickets out there that people have submitted. There's some emails, there's different things. But if you know of certain quotes where it is waiting at the deadline for a certain option to be picked, please let me know, and we will get those through. What we're not doing is, we do know that there's some options that people are saying, well, I just don't see it to select, but we don't want to do every single option unless we're at the point where somebody's ready to order it, because like I said, it's a manual process and we have to do it by plan. So if we want to see a certain option, and it's a wild card, meaning it has the plus and it goes and you're an active lifestyles community, you have 50 plus plans, that's 50 different scripts to get one option to appear in the drop down list. And if nobody's ready to select it, then we've just kind of taken a developer off of programming for several hours just to get that one in. So again, we are working on that because it's becoming a larger issue with the more options, that it's all new options that we're not able to get in, or updates to options that need to happen. And it's not all, it's just limited to certain ones, but typically it's the ones that are applicable to multiple plans. And it seems to be that we have 2 or 3 communities that tend to cause the error more than others. So trying to get to the bottom of it, figure out what it is, but I know that's a big one on everybody's list as well. That gets frustrating. The other issue, the other items we have on this list, I don't want to go through. It's a 9-page list of everything that we have. But what I am going to try to do for this group is take some time over the next few days to clean up the summary lines of each one of these. They go in order of, for the most part, in order of priority. You can see we already have 7 most critical, 19 critical, 58 high. So there's a lot of issues in there. And this will allow you to kind of see a due date. We're asking the developers to put in there when they think it's going to be into testing. So if you see this date and it says October 14th, I would add 2 days to that as to when you might see it in production. Once it gets tested, then it has to pass the code review and the UAT before it can get pushed into production. So it is a process, but at least this list will give you an idea of what's out there to come. And again, like I said, the biggest ones we're working on the options. The other thing is to make sure that if you notice sometimes when you update a home delivery date or a certain date on the quote or even on the lot, that date is not immediately getting fed to other sources like the ODS. So if you have reports that you're running, typically finance reports or any of those, maybe construction update type things, those dates won't appear to be getting updated. So these 3 tickets are all around making sure that the instant you update that date, it sends a feed out right away rather than having to click the send to E1 button. And that's the same for pricing on the website. So right now, if somebody updates an incentive and it does not hit the send to E1 button, then it doesn't make its way through to Kentaco to get onto the website. So obviously we want to limit the number of manual steps that people are taking and having to press the send to E1 button. So that's another one that's high up there on the list. And then we have a few data migration ones where it's relating to having information brought over from S1 that maybe we noticed, for example, the connection stage doesn't match. If it's a closed home buyer, it might have a prospect. So getting some of those updated to make sure that everything is in line and that we're not missing any communities of interest and some of those things that we need to get brought over. As I mentioned to a few of you, and I'm very grateful for any time that you can send over specific examples. So if somebody says to you, if a CR says, well, I'm not seeing this and I should be seeing this, if rather than just saying it appears something's missing, if they can say, on this particular connection, I know that in the old Salesforce, I had, at least 12 activities and now I have one. Knowing that connection name, then I can go back into the old Salesforce. I can look at that and say, okay, here's the 12. Clearly we only have one. I can send it to June as a specific example and he can dig into the back end to see what got missed. Typically what'll happen is when he finds one, after that, then we find the underlying issue and he might pull up that, there's 212 other ones that had the same issue and he corrects them at the same time. So the examples are very helpful. The other thing I wanted to bring up that was done recently, and I didn't announce it to everybody because unfortunately I haven't had the ability to completely test it, but if you guys would like to, in the navigation menu at the very, very bottom, there is the sales activity report. I have already submitted about 3 changes that I noticed that I want to see done, but in the meantime, if you would like to use this report, Therese did go in and validate that the data is pulling correctly. So when you see cancels, it truly is correctly showing the data. The changes that I want implemented are more aesthetics for one. And then the other one is that you can currently only select one community. That doesn't work for us. A lot of times people want either the whole division or they might want 3 communities or 5 communities if they're in a certain region. So I have that as the first thing I need changed, is to be able to do multiples or all, just the entire division. The other change is that this should only show active communities. So you'll notice Northern California definitely does not have this many communities open right now. So it's showing every community in Northern California. So they'll want to go ahead and I want them to only show the ones that are actually active right now. If I was to pick one of them, and then it functions the same way as the previous report, you can set your date. I'm just going to go through the 1st to the 11th, run it, and I picked a terrible community that had no activity, so bad example, but it does work. I just don't know everybody's communities and what's truly active. So down here you'll see it has the exact same table that you're used to seeing with regards to the traffic and the this period, month to date, year to date, and the numbers and the number of open escrows. So that is available. It's available to everybody. I just didn't announce it because, like I said, I haven't had them fix the community yet, and I wasn't 100% sure on all of the details, but Therese did validate, so I think we're okay as far as the data goes. And you're free to test this out as you use it. Let me know if you do find any issues, because having more people look at it is better than just me. You guys know your data far better than I do, obviously, as I picked a bad community. Other than that, I think I went over basically the main things that we have going on right now. And as I mentioned earlier, I will be working on the videos for lot transfer and the cancellation. I would anticipate those being available on Tuesday. I'm going to meet with the consultants on Monday and run through the process and make sure she understands, what we need it to do. Then she'll do the demo and we'll add that to the LMS. And I will also just send the YouTube link as well, because I know sometimes that's faster when people are in a hurry to just click on it and go, but I will put it in both locations. And that being said, I know I spoke the entire time and went really fast, but is there any questions that anybody has, anything in particular that you're wondering when it's going to get done or where it might be at, updates on anything? Anybody? Is it just Friday and everybody's done?
Hey, Amy, it's Karen.
Hi.
Hi. How about an update? Do we know on the inventory detail report?
Yeah, so the inventory report, the first time it went through, it failed, unfortunately. So they thought they had fixed it. The testing went through. But for Southern California, yours actually should be okay, because you use all spec quotes. So we were able to modify your inventory report. Um, I Sandra might know for sure, but if that one's not working, let me know. I should be able to fix it. For anybody that has all pre-plots, we're able to temporarily build the inventory report off of the quotes because you always have a spec quote, but that's not the case if you're not a pre-plotted division. Um, so my anticipation for the sales inventory report as well as the list view that shows your inventory so you don't have to always run a report, those are returned back to be tested today. I would like to say Monday, but realistically, I would say Wednesday.
Okay, you know what? I know it's working. Last week when I checked it, the data on there wasn't accurate, so I'll double check it today and see if anything's changed and let you know.
Yeah, let me know because that one I should be able
Okay,
to, without getting any help from developers or anything like that, that one I can fix. So if you see anything
awesome.
incorrect about it, just let me know.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Well, nobody has any questions, so I'm going to let everybody get back to all of the fun that you're all having with Salesforce, I'm sure. But in the meantime, again, thank you all for your help. I'll try to get more of this out, and I haven't gotten any emails about things that, people would like to see. And as I mentioned, even if it's something for your sales team that you want me to demo on this video so that it's recorded and they can see how it's done, I can do that as well. Anything I can do to try to make your lives a little bit easier. And oh, one thing I didn't mention that hopefully will make all of our lives easier. They are hiring one additional developer to start, I believe, next week in the hopes that we can get a lot more of these tickets pushed through because unfortunately where we're at right now, a lot of the fixes that I'm doing for everybody are we're not fixing the underlying issue. So until they get through some of these tickets, it's just me duct taping things or manually fixing things, and that's not good for any of us. It slows down the process. It frustrates people. Plus, it prevents me from being able to actually make progress on some of the things that you're waiting on, whether it be, revisiting for better training of the CRs, whether it be, fixing some of the reports that I don't need assistance with. I just need time to get to them, updating your guys' abilities to have more permissions in the system so you can do your jobs without having to ask me. Those are a lot of the things that I want to get to that I haven't been able to. So hopefully we will knock through some more of these tickets in a faster pace, and that will allow us to have everybody moving in the right direction instead of just kind of hanging out. So hopefully that will help. And on that, everybody have a great weekend, and I will talk to you all next week.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks.
Thanks, Amy.